Example? Okay,
Babies. One of them babies. I'm gonna sort it out.
I'm Jerome Butler. We're here to talk about my work as a dialect coach in film and television. When it comes to accuracy of accents versus performance, the performance is always more important. You take a movie like Something About Mary, where you have the character who played Mary's British lover.
Mary! How are you?
And he spends the whole first part of the film, you know, using this British accent, and then when he shows himself to be something that he's not.
What happened to your crutches?
That he's been putting on this British accent, he uses this very over-the-top American accent.
Name's Norm. I live with my folks up in Pompano.
It works perfectly because the movie is so bizarre that that sort of thing works. The world that you create is what shapes our perception in large part of the dialect.
No! No, not 6. I said 7.
The question for me when you're talking about biopics is, when is it important for the dialect to be accurate, and when doesn't it matter?
I have offended you with my ignorance, Count.
Yes, whatever you do, keep a straight face.
When it comes to biopics, one in recent memory that's really been wonderful to my ear is Ray. Jamie Foxx did an incredible dialect version of Ray Charles.
I might be blind, but I ain't stupid.
He did a great impersonation of Ray Charles without doing an impersonation, because, of course, that never works. You can't impersonate the person. You have to make it your own, but be close enough to that person to create the illusion for the audience. And of course, Ray Charles was still alive when it was happening. Everybody knows what Ray Charles sounds like. Everybody knows what Ray Charles sings like.
My voice is very medium range, so I guess it's easy to detect.
You have to listen.
You go back to LBJ or Nixon, yeah, we know what they sounded like.
America needs a full-time president and a full-time Congress.
But in the current world of the viewer...
Okay, fine. You made a conclusion there. I stated my view. Now let's move on.
I don't remember so much. We heard a lot of impressions of Nixon, and I think that people's memory of a Nixon impression...
Computers may be twice as fast as they were in 1973, but your average voter is as drunk and stupid as ever.
...is more present than the actual voice of Richard Nixon.
My name is Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
My name's Bob. James Bob.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What I say?
I think an accent tells us a lot about a character. It's interesting when you talk about a movie like 300, because the dialect that Gerard Butler used was kind of a hybrid. Really, it was a light Scottish. It wasn't a heavy Scottish dialect, but he definitely used rhythms and sounds that he was familiar with.
Tonight, we dine in hell!
And that Celtic sound we traditionally associate with manhood. Well, of course, when you go back to Braveheart, that was perhaps one of the places where the post was placed in the ground in terms of antiquity.
And if he were here, he'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes.
A historical movie where, you know, we're out of time. The characters wouldn't have been speaking English, but yet they are, so what do we do? But that's where we really had a strong sense of what the connection with the dialect and manliness was sort of forged. What dialect do you use when you're not using the language that would be spoken at the time? So you're already jumping into a conceit of sorts. I worked on a television show called Harley and the Davidsons. and it took place in the early part of the 19th century, and it was Milwaukee. So you have a certain look that the show will have. You have a certain sense of place that comes out in the dialect.
My parents say that's what I get for wasting my time with this.
And that's a little bit more straightforward because you're trying to recreate a period that we can kind of put together. When you're looking at a historical movie or a period piece, one of the things that I think that you'll find is that the stronger accents are going to be carried by the older characters, and the lighter accents are going to be carried by the younger characters.
What news of the North?
Nothing new, Your Majesty.
Look how old you've become.
Something far worse has happened to you.
If you listen to tapes from the 1970s,
America stops shaving and starts grooming.
People are a little bit more articulate in terms of their use of consonants.
RCA is making television better and better.
It's possible that this phenomenon we're talking about is really nothing more than youth fleeing from what came before in whatever way possible.
I just wanted to say a few words about this motion.
Ariel, I cannot let this dance happen.
I thought this was a party! Let's dance!
Sometimes it may manifest itself by throwing away consonants.
So we'll see you there. Dude, did you just say I? Yeah.
I would bet some money, if I'd still be around to collect, that you will hear a dismissal of I by something which has a stronger consonant attack. I think that it's possible that this is a shifting tide that just washes back and forth.
What do you know? We don't all have the luxury of deciding when and where we want to care about something. Suddenly the rebellion is real for you. Some of us live it. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
What we're dealing with now is that the world has become smaller, more international, and we have become more aware of different cultures. And to the degree that you're aware of a situation or a culture, to that degree you are sensitive to whether or not it's being portrayed properly. If you compare Star Wars, the original, to the prequel, Rogue One, in Star Wars, the British were the Empire.
Charming to the last.
The rebels were American. And especially during those dogfights, we very much had American sounds.
They're coming in. 3 marks at 210.
But what happens in Rogue One is all of a sudden much more of an international feel.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
He tends to say whatever comes into his circuit.
Because when the characters actually drop into a colloquial sound, it's typically, a working class London sound.
The last time I saw you, you gave me a knife and loaded blaster and told me to wait in a bunker till daylight.
I was struck when they had the dogfight at the end of the movie. All of a sudden, every once in a while you heard American voices.
This is Gold Leader, standing by.
But this is a different squadron. The American voices are not in this squadron. The accents are telling us something really, really specific that resonates in this time we live in now. So dialects are time-specific, they're political.
Rebellions are built on hope.
And they speak into the listening space of the audience who's going to receive them. And that sense of diversity and international blurring of lines is gonna be something that you're seeing more and more and more.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you want to subscribe, hit that big C in the middle, and if you want to watch more videos, hit one of the 2 boxes on the right. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell icon below, so YouTube will notify when we have a new video.